just going to give that a real quickie whip, and we'll dive right back into this while we're on video here. Right now, and I still like the texture of it, so I'm going to leave it.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Now your mud should be, we talked about this before, but it should roll off your knife ever so slowly like this. That's your consistency. If it doesn't roll off your knife, it's too thick. Whip it up a little more. Now it shouldn't be like gravy either. You shouldn't be able to pour it into a glass either, but it should be enough so that when you hold it up, you can get drips coming off the end of your tools. Then you've got a nice creamy whipped up consistency that'll spread nice. And
very important, you do got to mix your mud with water in between your coats and stages. You don't want to use it right out of the bucket. That's a big mistake that a lot of first time do-it-yourselfers always do. Yeah. Let's go attack them with a 10. I'm going to just give it a full 10 on down and wipe it out both ways. That way I know my tape is covered.
Alright, so it's the 10 down the middle again method?
Yeah, that's the way. I can even see I pulled it off a little too much. I'm actually trying to leave
a lot of mud on
there. Yeah, trying to leave some mud on there to cover that up. I'm just come in here and I'm still leaving that mud on there. Because you want that tape, you want it to be built up an 1/8 inch to nothing, is what we're going for right here.
Nothing on the outside edge, 1/8 inch in the middle.
Thick in the middle, yep. Putting some mud on here.
So we get that true tapered effect.
Yeah, that's what you definitely want that.
Alright, so you're putting a lot of pressure on the outside edge of your knife. In the middle, you're not so much.
Yeah.
Again, that's going to take a little bit of practice, guys, in order to get that to come out like that. But as long as you have the concept right, what he's doing is he's feathering it out to nothing on the outsides of the joint, and he's leaving it in the middle to cover the tape.
Yeah. And get it close the first time. You're gonna leave
now,
a mark.
Where he came across here on his 20-foot tapered, he's pulling his 20 inches down here across this tapered joint. There's an intersection there. And whenever you do that, you're going to have some lines. Don't worry about it. Don't try to get them lines out. Get them as best you can and leave it alone. It'll come out in the next coat.
Yeah.
See, he's going right over top of his 20-foot taper joint when he's coming down with this 20-inch
I'm just going back to try to remove that line.
Butt joint. He's dragging his mud right across another path of the old mud. Right?
Okay.
And when you do that, you're going to get little lines. You're going to get little lines like, I don't know if you can see that or not there, but there's a line right here, a little line there.
Something the same.
There's a big line here in the middle. Let them there. We did what we wanted to do today, which was coat that butt joint, taper it, and leave mud in the center, 1/8 of an inch to nothing. And we did that. The lines will knock off tomorrow with our 6-inch knife before we start the next coat. All right, so here we got another butt joint here coming up off the floor. Whenever you're working down at the floor, pull your mud up. Don't pull your mud down to the floor. What will happen is it'll drip down the floor. It'll pick up all the little crap that's loose all over the floor that we scraped off this morning. You'll be dragging it around in your mud. Always pull up from the floor like Tom's doing there. All right.
Okay.
Up. All right, he's tapering to nothing. He's leaving 1/8 in the middle. And he is leaving a line in the center.
Yep, here I got a nice ugly intersection I can't do a lot with. I'll try to work that one out a little bit. I'm just going to try to get this one just a little bit better, which I didn't. I just made it worse. Alright, man, like I said, ain't nothing that can't come out in the wash. I'll go up one more time just to see if I can flatten that out. But I'm like barely touching my knife right now. I'm pushing this up with a finger.
That looks good. That looks good. Yep.
Alright, there's the 45 minute mud that I just did this morning. And I went and wiped it off because it's still just a little bit moist, but I got my edges clean and my metal's clean.
Okay. And you're rubbing your hand over that, and nothing's coming off on your hand.
Yeah, well, I got it off the metal. metal, which got my garbage off the metal. They're both ready to coat. This is the one we did this morning. This is the original one.
Okay.
Matter of fact, the 45-minute one might even be a little bit further ahead than the other one.
Now the 45-minute mud dries a grayer color.
Yep, and that's not even 100% dry right there.
No.
But it's dry enough to recoat.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually tapping on that. We just put that on there an hour ago, and it's ready to be coated. And that's why you use the speed powder mud, the 45, the door by 45, because you can play catch up.
Yeah, tell you the truth, like if I was doing drywall for a living, I would be putting my metal on and 45 and all my metal.
Yeah, I like 45 on my metal too. It's actually a harder finish too.
And it fills it. You could actually fill it out wider, and it dries quicker.
Yeah.
The metal seems to take the longest to dry, more so than corners and straight shots. Okay, here we go.
So he's putting about a 10-inch stripe on there, and he's pulling that off. He's using his 10-inch knife. And this is just more metal work. He's just upside down on the soffit edges, but you finish all your metal the same. You finish both sides the same day.
Just keep in mind, you're going to be going over this again with the water.
And your metal does suck up your mud.
Yeah.
All right, so he's going over what was a 6-inch. We put about 6 inches of mud on, 4, 5, 6 inches the first day. All right, you can see here we've only got about 3 inches of mud on here. And today we're widening out that to about 8 inches on the metal. And we'll probably finish out with a 10 on the metal.
Yeah, 10 or a 12, yeah.
Today we're working back across the metal with on the second coat with a 10.
Yeah, that's just a 10. If you get used to using a 10, I can do a majority of my entire job with a 10-inch and 6-inch knife.
10's my.
But it's always nice to have a little bit smaller knife too.
Yeah.
In case you're going around certain thingies, light switches, whatever, tight corners. But my two main knives of choice.
10 and 6.
10 and 6, yeah.
Now out here you can see he's going to bring that 10-inch stripe around and down to the floor. He's going to run his knife right around the corner, just like driving your car around the corner there. You keep one edge on the metal. You know, whenever you're finishing the metal, you want one edge of your knife to ride down the metal bead. You never want to be over totally on the drywall when you're coming down. One edge stays on the metal, and that's what keeps you straight as you come down. So when you're coming around the 90-degree bend like that, you let the one edge of your knife ride down and right around and stay on the metal as you turn the corner.
Yep. And it's no biggie. I'm just putting some on and taking it off. You can see my flat parts there. Putting it on, taking it off.
Pull up from the floor. Always pull up from the floor, whether it's a joint or metal.
Yeah. And try not to pull the garbage off your floor. Alright. You see you got kind of close to where you're going with it. Alright. Yeah, when you see you got kind of close to where you're going with it. Okay. This will all come out in the water. Okay.
Alright, here he's going to come around the corner up there like we were talking about.
Yeah.
Alright, just drive your knife right around, keep it on the metal, and straight down. Pull up off the floor, right back into it, and let it go. Alright, so now he's got a nice fat 10 inches of mud on there, and tomorrow, or whenever we come back for the next coat, he'll be using probably a 12 to put the final coat on the metal. Alright, that looks good there, Tom. Now, the other side of the metal here.
Yeah, we already hit both sides of our metal on the lid, and you got to do both sides of your metal right away while the mud's wet. Otherwise, that mud will dry, and you'll be pulling
junk in there.
Yeah, all kinds of garbage in your
Both sides of your metal the same day, always.
Yeah, I mean, one after the other. Yeah, do one side, then go back and do the other side right away.
Pull up from the floor, wipe your mud on, pull up. Always up off the floor. Keep your knife off the floor. Don't let it touch the floor at all. If your mud does hit the floor, don't scrape it up and rub it back on the wall. Just let it on the floor and scrape it up when you're done, because I guarantee it's going to pick up all kinds of debris on the floor, and you're going to be dragging it in your mud the whole time you're trying to finish that corner. So just let it on the floor. Okay. All right, once you get it all on there, take the metal edge of your knife and you're going to scrape up all of your excess right up the bead. Get as much as you can off. Don't worry about getting it all. You'll be able to scrape it off while it's dry tomorrow. Whatever you don't get off the actual bead edge today with your knife while it's wet, leave on there. You'll be able to bust it off tomorrow morning like we showed you at the beginning of the video today.
Just keep in mind, yep, that's getting more coats, more coats. This 45 minute mud side right here is
it's dry. It's ready to be coated again. So we're second coating our bead that we just put on this morning because of the Durabond 45 product. It's enabling us to do this. Otherwise, this would get behind.
Yeah. We showed them inside corners, outside corners, butt joints. We showed them nail holes.
Yep. You've seen everything that there is to see for the second coat. So we're going to probably cut out here on day 2 of finishing, because what he's got left, like I said, is the exact same stuff you watched us finish here already this morning.